That's right. And that's what you do as the end product of a long-term war to destroy everything that made things function and made you independent. And now you won't stand up and fight for anything. That's exactly the goal they had in mind.
Well said. Alan Watt is our guest. CuttingToTheMatrix.com. Our sites are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Let's talk to Doug in Utah, who I'm told disagrees. So he'll go to the head of the line. Go ahead, Doug.
Hi, yeah, Alex and Alan. I disagreed with Alex's opinion yesterday. He talked about Stephen Hawking's opinion that we must go off-world immediately, or it's almost certain that in the next 100 years we're going to destroy ourselves.
Well, that doesn't mean leave the planet. I'm saying we need to expand and not have the technologies hidden from us. And I agree with him. There's a good chance with all these super weapons and genetic engineering that we're going to have serious catastrophes, and the globalists are arrogant and think they can control it. But finish your point, and we'll get Alan's take on it.
Yeah, you said it's a virtual certainty that this planet will never become a Type 1 civilization with the assault on mankind from the elite. And what my problem was is that vision is totally contrary to the vision that the holy prophets of God describe for us in the Scriptures. And I wondered if Alan had a take on that, because, you know, those are really the primary writings of civilization, and they talk about these things. It's amazing how much they talk about it.
Let me stop you for a minute. Alan's going to say it's just like H.G. Wells 100 years ago, predictive programming, self-fulfilling prophecy, a missionariate protectorate that Frank Herbert talked about in his series on Dune, giving you an off-world model of that. I am a Christian, and I've read the Bible, but in the last 150 years, you've had this move to say, never stand up to evil, it's the end of the world, you're not, you can't change things, and that's just not true. And they've got this Christianoid model now where we can't even have destiny, or we can't, I mean, people told the Founding Fathers don't fight back, it's the end of the world. People told the Germans lay down to Hitler, it's the end of the world, and I find it to be a cop-out. Let me get a comment from Alan Watt on that.
Yes, I mean, religion's always been used by the powerful organizations that end up taking them over. And you'll find that I personally see the Old Testament, for instance, in a totally different way than most people. I see it more like a guidebook of practical means of conquering the world, actually. That's how I see it. I see the New Testament with a different deity in charge altogether from the old bloodthirsty Yahweh. And Christianity in its basic initial form, before it was taken over by, remember, an empire took it over, a political military empire took it over and used it. Initial Christianity was very simplistic in its doctrine, and so they used it again. Once it was taken over, they used it again to dominate people for 1,500 years, really. And then the Protestant sect, it was time to bring in the Protestants. And that's how I see it. It was time to bring in the Protestants by those who ruled the money.
Yeah, let me say this to Doug. Let me say this to Doug. Look, you injected religion into this, and I happen to know Alan's views, and that's one of the few areas that we differ on, but I do see his perspective, and that's why all things are open for discussion here. But overall, you know, at my parents' church, my dad said, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go there anymore. We got new preachers there, and they're teaching us that we've got to have the illegal aliens basically come in. That's the World Council of Churches and the Rockefellers, or Catholic and Protestant churches saying, turn your guns in, and FEMA secretly recruiting 50,000+ preachers for clergy response teams. I mean, we've got to recognize that they're telling us just give up, lay down. It's what Jesus says, and that's not what Jesus even said, Alan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jesus didn't tell you to leave your head at the door, of the church. You were supposed to use your head.
Well, he went after the money changers. He went after the money power.
That was the last thing, basically, he did. Once they did that, everything changed. And that wasn't just money changers. That was an international bank of the day.
Stay there. Stay there. Let's talk about that when we come back and go to more calls. Interesting point, Doug. Now the globalists are already vetting new puppets. Also, Alex Jones, 11-minute clip on Russia Today. Big Brother is watching you, dealing with the internet takeover and cameras and cars and planes to watch and record you, both audio and video. Former Senator Ted Stevens confirmed dead in that plane crash yesterday. Gold prepares to make yet another all-time high, rising in the last few days again. It's all up at GCNlive.com. This is a short segment and I want to hurry and get to the calls, but I don't want the break to cut you off. You were saying he was challenging the international banking system at that time, and he was. Alan, finish your point on that.
Yeah, you understand that Judaism, even in that time, had enclaves across the ancient world and all the capital cities of Greece and so on, Athens and all over the place. Rhodes is another famous place for them. But they had to come back so many times per year to the great temple, and they brought incredible fortunes with them. And you couldn't get into the temple, and no Hebrew or Jew, I should say, could get into the temple without the actual money off the land. So you had to exchange your money to go into the temple with your offerings. And basically the guys there were doing foreign exchange. And they made incredible amounts of money on this from these people who came in every day from all over the ancient world.
Yeah, the main manipulation was they made you buy a special coin to buy your sacrifice, whether it was a cow or a sheep or birds, and they would be huge piles of gold and silver for one little special silver coin.
Yeah, foreign cash was unclean inside the temple, but it was awfully good outside for the guys who exchanged it. And they set the exchange rates, and it literally was a going concern, and they came from all over the ancient world to exchange their monies there, yeah.
Amazing. Hope that answers Doug's question. Let's talk to Jeff in Texas. Jeff, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, man, this is really great. This is my second time listening to you. Yesterday, now today, and I feel pretty at home. I've been actually paying attention on another level through the internet and just noticing things and the experience in my life. I'm a reformed old hippie from the 60s, so I know what all the culture's about, and I've been around to see just what everybody's into. But I think where I'm going now, I've kind of developed to this point where what you were talking about earlier, the electronic money. I mean, it looks to me, I put it this way, Obama, you know, I was a Bush hater. When he came, I mean, I had tears, and I was just, like, overwhelmed and just, my life was just so wonderful that here we got an African-American man as president. We've come so far because I went to my buddy's black weddings. I was into the black culture and people way back when in the 60s, and I loved the whole thing. And then I started realizing the details, and I was kind of in denial. I think so many people are.
Well, Obama's 6% African, and it's just a corporate production to sucker people that things had really changed when it's just more of the same. But getting back to digital money, that's why they're cracking down on swap meets, on garage sales, on selling or bartering with your neighbor. They want everything tracked and controlled so they can turn the economy off. But dealing with that, and also Obama and the fraud that was Obama. Alan Watt, give us your breakdown.
Well, you'll never change a system when the people come in to vote to come in and lead the same system of central banking, international banking, debt, which is incredible to start with, since every central bank can print its own money if it wishes to, but they all prefer to borrow from the private banks. That's the con. Everybody, I don't care if you got Mickey Mouse coming in to run for election, if he's going to stand up for the same system, including all the previously owned debt, rather than saying, I'm writing it all off, it's all bogus anyway. We'll print our own money from now on, debt-free. Well, why are you voting for anybody in the first place, whether it was Donald Duck or anybody else? It's the same system. It's not your system. It's the con system. So you don't have a chance anyway voting for anybody.
And that's why they're trying to block us taking the states back, because we've got a shot at that, not really at the federal government.
Yes, I mean, see, we're already international, and that was the key to setting up international banks and central banks as well, to go with the World Bank and using this debt con to push it all. Since World War II, the U.S. And Britain and Canada have been funding through their OECD departments. They're all set up during World War II across the third world. We're funding China right now for their medical care. So is the U.S. Canada is building a CANDU nuclear reactor, 2 or 3 of them in China, courtesy of the Canadian taxpayer.
They're the new model, and the $50 billion for the auto bailouts, most of it went to move our factories to Brazil, Eastern Europe, and China.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is all done by the same system that wants you to vote for the next guy who will promise to uphold the same system.
All right, Jeff, appreciate your call. Good to have you on board. Please pay it forward. Spread the word about the broadcast. Long segment coming up. Chris, Stan, Rob, Guy, others, your call straight ahead with Alan Watt. I'm Alex Jones. Don't forget, we're simulcasting the radio at prisonplanet.tv. Let's talk to Chris in Canada, up there where Alan's at. You're on the air, Chris.
Hey, Alex?
Yes, sir.
Just making sure you can hear me. All right.
Here you go. Good to have you here.
First of all, I just want to say what you're doing is great. You're a hero to us all. I mean, there's lots of, with everything that's going on, everybody calling you a crackpot and this and that. They're the crackpots, really, to be quite honest.
Well, they're not intellectual. They can't have a historical debate. It's just easy to have a throwaway one-way line of, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, you ask them a direct question, and then it's dodging.
Well, time is on our side, Chris, because I told people 12, 13, 14 years ago they were taking blood from babies at birth for the Pentagon. Now it's admitted. I told folks a year ago they're saving the body scans as we have the documents. I told people they were going to put cameras in your cars to watch you and in all the airline seats to record you. And it's all, I mean, look, I'm going off what they say they're going to do and what they're doing. And so I've got the facts. They've got baloney. And so the general public hears me say something a decade before. They say, oh, he's a kook. Then they hear it later and go, wow, that guy isn't a kook. But any questions for Alan Watt?
Well, yeah, I have a question. It's a couple questions, and it's either of you can field them. It doesn't matter either or. But I got to tread carefully with a couple of these questions because I don't want you to. I noticed that you attacked. I wouldn't say attacked, but you defended yourself the other day, and I don't want to come off like I'm against you or anything. So I just want
Chris,
to.
I don't care if somebody is against me, but when somebody calls in and just makes something up, sometimes I'll get angry. But at the same time, I don't want. You notice how people compliment me? I say, no, it's all about you. I don't want to make this about me. Number one, it's dangerous. Number two, we're going to win by waking others up. So we're here talking about the global elite enslaving us. No one can deny it now. And so, you know, I don't want to make it about me. But listen, I got a lot of callers I want to get to. Chris, go ahead and get to your points.
Well, let me hurry up. First of all, I just want to say that I got a good judgment on when I meet people and I hear people, whether or not they're decent or, you know, I can usually tell in the first few seconds of interacting with someone what kind of person that they are, and I get this sense that you're genuinely good. And you've also empowered me to do the same. I do a lot of since hearing things you've had to tell me, information you've empowered me with, I've gone ahead and spread that information to as many people as I possibly can. My question is, one of my questions are, do you think this can be realistically stopped? All these things that are on the move, do you think any of them realistically can be stopped?
All right. Listen, I appreciate your call. I'm going to get Alan's take on what you just said. He's our guest. Go ahead, Alan.
Well, I don't think people think in numbers. The mass man, that's how we're used, in fact. We're used as the mass man. We're very predictable. It's the few who change society. It's always been that way. And but what it means, too, is that you have to reevaluate yourself and your own values. Because remember, today's values are different from 50-year ago values. We've been totally turned upside down, in fact. We have to get back to what is personally sustainable. That's the real meaning of sustainability for yourself and for those that you love. And it really means getting back to personal values and where you can make a promise and keep it, and even make a vow and keep it, and get back to your own integrity.
Yeah, people have no anchor. They have no anchor. They have no compass. And then they'll also say, you look like a nice person. You sound convincing. It isn't my opinion that there were a riot in Atlanta over food stamps and housing. It's not my opinion that I read from the Rockefeller Foundation about vaccines to sterilize you. It's not my opinion that BP bisphenol A is sterilizing people and causing cancer. I mean, again, so the establishment always tries to make it about Alex Jones or about Alan Watt. Folks, this is information for you to make a decision about. This isn't about, I wonder what I'll do. Do I trust Alex or not? You shouldn't trust me. You should go look at the information. It's not about me. I'm a guy here trying to warn people so we can stop the globalists.